I hope I'm doing this correctly. Okay. Oh, I can do some fun things here. Retouch on. Ooh, look at me. Having fun with this. So it looks like YouTube wants to do something similar to what TikTok does. That's interesting. So it has a beauty enhance, lighting. Okay. Red light on. Okay. All right. Create highlight retouch effect. Okay. All right. Anywho, now we know that that's that. Hi. Hi there. Long time no see. I know many of you are going to say, where has this Papa Dr. Tochi been? Where has she been? Child, it has been like busier than the deer mating season. And I'm not mating nobody. I hope you're doing well. I hope your week has been going well. I figure I'd just hop on here for a bit. Um, we are in the middle of the tropical storm Bertha. So it's a nice time to be indoors with a cup of soup or a cup of hot chocolate or whatever your brew is. Someone was proposing Irish cream. Hello, Empress Nyambingi. How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a weird kind of summer, um, spiritually speaking. uh, for a lot of spiritual practitioners who are doing a lot of serious work. And I'm not just talking about creating content, about just doing work in general. Some of you might recollect that I put out a short video a couple of weeks ago about the influence of Saturn, the planet Saturn. And if you are into research or you are interested in researching these kinds of things, like I suggested in that video, you might want to take some time. And you can do this for free online. Matter of fact, you can have ChatGPT help you do that and say, where are the Saturn placements in my birth chart? And ChatGPT is going to say, okay, give me your date, time, and place of birth. And you do that, and it will tell you where Saturn is operative in your life. Okay, it's interesting for me to see that um, in general, when we are doing work as spiritual practitioners, we're like, oh, okay, there are good forces and then there are evil forces. Or, when we look at African traditions, they'll say they're good spirits and then they're bad spirits. Okay. And astrology is not really brought into the picture. And at some point, we have to sit down and start wondering, well, how does how does our spirituality connect with astrology? Now, African spiritual traditions have their own astrology. Okay, so when you go from West Africa to East Africa to North Africa to South Africa, yes, there are African traditions that have their own African astrology. However, they may not be as easily accessible the way that Western astrology has been made. Western astrology, you can go to ChatGPT and say, well, here's the details, here are my personal details, and, give me blah, 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 and it'll quickly do that. But if you went to ChatGPT and you said, well, I want you to calculate my astrological chart according to the Dogon tradition. Now, that might be a little bit more challenging, and you may not get accurate results. And even if it figured out a way to calculate that for you, then the 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 devil in the details will be how to interpret that. So, having said all of that, can we mix traditions? Can we say, okay, I'm practicing African spiritual tradition, but can I use the systems of other traditions to see how that influences me? And at this point, I will say, absolutely yes, you can do that. Hello there, Zenkais. You can absolutely do that because planetary influences are universal, or at the very least, they're global. They affect everybody. So, if you're using a Western system, or let's say you're using a Chinese system or some other system, as long as you live on this planet, it will, the planets will affect you in one way or the other. What we do not know for sure, and I'm not afraid to go out on a limb and say this, what we don't know for sure. Here, let me put on my Wi-Fi. It just occurred to me that my Wi-Fi, okay, my Wi-Fi is on. All right. Can you hear me? I hope you can. You hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hello, sweet mommy. Can y'all hear me? Because I'm just like going on about astrology and Saturn and African traditions. And okay, fantastic. So, there are different traditions that have astrology in there. At the stage where I am right now, and I say that very respectfully because maybe down the road I might learn new things and my perspective will change. But for now, I will say yes, there is some value to, yeah, practicing what you're practicing, but also have a finger in other systems. Okay. There are some trends or influences, like I said earlier, that are global. So let me pick Sweet Mummy for instance. Sweet Mummy is not me, and I'm not Sweet Mummy. We're two different people. So let's say, for instance, she's called to spiritual practice. I'm called to spiritual practice. It doesn't mean that we're called to spiritual practice in the same way. Okay. But Mercury is retrograde right now, and it influences me, and it influences her, even though we have different spiritual paths, we have different life destinies, we have different outcomes. Big blessing to you too, Zero Panda. Thank you. Um, but the fact that Mercury is retrograde affects both of us. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So there's certain global trends like that you could look at and say, okay, I know this is my path. I know this is what's happening to me, but I also have to take into consideration the other influences that are affecting not just me, but everybody else. This is important to know because if, for instance, you are a business owner and your business is not doing well, before you start ascribing your business failure or your business slowness to witches and wizards and hexes and curses and things of that nature, you might do well to say, is this a global trend or is it just happening to me? Okay, is this a global trend or is this happening to me? Right now, whether people want to admit it or not, we are in an economic downturn. Some people say it's a recession. I'll let the experts debate that. In the United States, a lot of businesses are shutting down, even long standing businesses. There are some businesses that have been around for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. They're shutting down. They don't have business. revenues are low. They're not pulling in money the way they used to. Okay, there are new businesses shutting down. There are older businesses shutting down. All kinds of businesses in the United States are hurting. Okay, it's happening to a broad swath of the population. So when we see something like that, can we then turn around and say, oh, well, my own case is different. I am being hexed. Someone put some roots on me, or, whatever the case may be. You need to look at the broader picture. Woo! I wish you could see the lightning that just showed up right in front of me. That was spectacular. I don't know if that hit the ground. That was spectacular. Okay. So that's why when I do a spiritual consultation with somebody and the person says, well, here's what's happening with me, I like to look at the broader picture as well as the specific picture. Because if a lot of businesses are shutting down because of the economic condition that is going on, it is an incorrect self diagnosis to say, oh, well, it's just me. I'm being attacked or I'm being singled out. No, if you look around, you'll see other businesses are having challenges. And so the remedy in such a case will be quite different from if the person was literally and actually, factually, um, having specific adverse conditions being applied to them. Okay. You need to understand this. I need to understand this because if businesses in general are having problems because of the economy, and you go out and start doing a ritual, oh, I'm going to do this ritual back to sender. I'm going to attack all my enemies and anybody who's put a curse or hex on me. You're wasting time and money because no one's doing anything to you. It's a general trend. Everyone around is having the same issue. So instead of doing a ritual to attack and defend yourself from unseen enemies, your best bet is to do something to make things more favorable to you, to make you more attractive, you, to make you more attractive to customers, to have people become more sympathetic towards you and your business. So those are the kinds of spiritual work you should be looking at. Okay, should I do some road openers? Should I do some attraction work? Should I do some uh, client or customer drawing work? Should I do some money drawing work and things like that, as opposed to going to do work? Oh, I'm doing a back to sender. I'm going to attack all the people who are attacking me. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we need to pay attention to trends so that we are not wasting our time and our resources and our energy. Okay, we need to pay attention to that. When things are happening in the skies now, people will debate that. People will say, oh, well, there's a planet out there. How do we prove that this planet is affecting me? It's just superstition and things like that. Okay, you might say a superstition, but why is there one form or another of astrology extant in a diversity of ethnic groups and tribes and nations? There's Indian Vedic astrology, there's a Western astrology, there's the African astrology. And by saying African, I know I'm using a broad brush because Africa is comprised of thousands of ethnic groups. If you go to South America, they have Mayan astrology or Inca astrology. There's different kinds of astrologies depending on the ethnic group or the tribe or the nation and things like that. So there has to be, the saying, there's no smoke without fire. There has to be something in studying the stars, and some of the ancient people paying attention and saying, I notice that when this is happening in the sky, this is what is happening amongst us here as human beings. Okay, hello, Miss Kiona. Okay. So when certain things are happening in the sky, then certain things are happening amongst us. And so we want to see, how does this correlate to that? Okay. So that's why, again, in that short video, I said, go check out your Saturn placements. Because Saturn placements can speak to restrictions, delays, detours, denials, discipline. Some people are getting away with certain things, or they seem to be lucky with certain things, but you're not as lucky. You can't get away with certain things. You don't get the same kind of breaks that they do. Check the placement of Saturn in your astrological chart. If you're using another astrological system, find out what the restrictive planets are in that system, and then see how many of those restrictive planets you have and how they're placed in your chart. A lot of spiritual practitioners do have significant Saturn placements in their charts because they must learn discipline. They have to be disciplined. They must spend time. Saturn is in charge of time. And so when there's strong Saturn placements, you may not get things done as quickly as other people, because Saturn controls time. It influences time. So you will spend more time acquiring things or understanding things or getting through things compared to someone else. Okay. Saturn and the influence of Saturn affects every area of our lives. You might find someone with Saturn strong or multiple, Saturn, or yes, let me just use the term strong Saturn placements, may experience delay in the usual milestones of life, like delay in going to school, delay in getting married, delay in getting a job, um, delay in being recognized, delay in being honored. You know that, intrinsically you deserve to be recognized, acknowledged, and honored, but it's very difficult. It doesn't seem to come when it's supposed to come. Check your Saturn placement. It's not a hex. It's not a curse. There's no evil witchcraft going your way. Okay. Hello, Elder. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello, Elder Divinity. I've been playing phone tag. Okay. So, one of the things I would suggest, if you have strong Saturn placements, is not to fight it, not to be resentful, because that's not going to help. I've been there, done that. I have a lot of strong Saturn placements, okay? And getting frustrated or irritated about it will not help your cause. I can let you know right now, it's not going to help your cause at all. Let me see. Is that cool air? Yeah, down to 76. Yesterday we were at 100, 102, and right now we're at 76. Oh, Joey. Okay. All right. You pulled your natal chart just now. Yeah, take a look at it. Or have AI help you analyze it. Okay. Learn how to sit quietly with your Saturn. Okay, Saturn in Libra, which is also your sun sign, and Saturn in 10th house. Okay. Saturn in Libra will speak to difficulties in relationships, and those difficulties will often show up as delays. Sometimes it will show up as the right people for you showing up. You're looking at them, you don't want them, but they're the right people for you. They may be short, they may be not good looking. Okay, and I'm putting that mildly. They may not be that attractive. They may not propose to you right away. Okay, they might be struggling with your own issues. You want to get hooked up and married as quickly as possible, and for whatever reason, they're unavailable or delayed. Okay. Saturn in Libra can also point to delayed judgments. Delayed judgments. Something clearly should be in your favor, but it gets tied up in red tape and bureaucracy. And you're staring at it and you're saying, can you all not see clearly that I am the victim? I'm the wronged party. And it seems that people are dragging their feet to give you justice. I want to unbuckle my belt. Okay, they're dragging their feet. Saturn in Libra. Saturn is not the natural placement. Excuse me. Saturn in Libra is not a natural placement. It should be Venus. Venus rules Libra. But when you have Saturn in there, things pertaining to an easy life, a gentle life, a sophisticated life can get delayed. But it can also speak to development of character, learning how to be a matriarch or patriarch, depending on your gender. And at the end of the road, you'll be highly respected, but it will take time. And you might find with Saturn in Libra, people trust your decisions right from a very young age. They may disrespect you and treat you badly and do all kinds of things. But when you open your mouth and give judgment about something or give your opinion about something, you are right. You are correct. And people will say, well, I don't like her, but she spoke the truth. Your life might be going to hell in a handbasket. But when you look at a situation, you will rightly judge it, rightly assess it, and rightly decide it. And people are like, well, I don't really like you, but what you said is true. What you said is accurate. Miss Kiona, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I love you too. But you will be sitting there saying, when will I find the one whom my heart desires? And you will have people coming to you and say, I respect you so much. I respect your judgment. You know what? You are so disciplined. And you're like, okay, if I'm so disciplined, if I'm so admired, why am I suffering? Why are things not going for me the way I love elegant things, and I love orderly things, and I love beautiful things? Why are these things so hard for me to get or to enjoy? And people around you are like saying, "Oh, oh, oh, oh," and you are saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." Saturn in Libra is a difficult placement. And it's a placement where you will have nights. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Please do not interpret this the bad way, in the wrong way. You will have nights that you cry alone. Because you're watching other people, they're having partners, they're getting married, things are going well for them, and you're there saying, how about me? And you will have nights when you cry alone by yourself. I am so lonely. I am lonely. Can someone just come and kiss me so I can wake up? I am so lonely. But have you noticed that you get along well with Capricorns and Tauruses? And somehow, despite the fact that Capricorns and Tauruses can be pretty difficult people, even Virgos, they can be difficult personalities, but you understand them in some kind of strange way. You understand them and they respect you. When you say to them, this is the way it is, they will follow exactly what you have said. We have differences, but when it comes to you saying this is the way it should be, this is the right thing to do, here's the path you're supposed to take, they will do it. And if they don't do it, they'll run into problems and they'll come back and tell you. So, thank you for just allowing yourself to be this evening's example, Miss Kiernan. Appreciate you. So, if you have a strong Saturn placement, start thinking about surrendering to it. Okay. And if I recollect here, you wrote you also have Saturn in your 10th house. Okay. So your 10th house is in the house of material gains and careers, progress, money, standing in the community. So you see how all of that ties together. And Saturn in the 10th house, if I'm not mistaken, is a natural position for it. So even if you were homeless, people still see you and respect you. Even if it's not your good day, your face is looking like everything you've ever been through. People are saying to you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And you are sitting there and you're looking at yourself saying, my face is a mess. I have a breakout. My eyebrows are looking wild. I'm looking like Santa Claus. My hair's a mess. But people are not seeing that, even though you are seeing that. but people are not seeing that. But you're sitting here saying, oh, look at me now. My clothes are not what they should be. My hair is not what it should be. My eyebrows are what should be. My nails are not on point. My eyebrows are not on point. I'm not. But that's not what they're seeing when they're talking to you. Especially the disadvantaged people. Especially the downtrodden. You're welcome, the revolutionary queen. So this is what I'm going to do. Folks, go to Google. You can do this right quick while we're here live. Okay. Don't say that Papa Dr. Tochi didn't do nothing for you free. Okay. Go in and find out, or from ChatGPT, or just go to Google, use Google Gemini, because I think now Google is now cascading its Gemini even in its ordinary search. So go in there and say, I want to know where the Saturn placements in my chart, and it's going to ask you for three things: your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. So just like Miss Kiona pulled hers up right now, go into Google right now and do it, and then put it in the comment section. Do not put your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth in the comment section, because I know there's some people who are going to do what they want to do. Do not put your personal information in here in this comment section. Do it in Google, and then come back. You see the way that Miss Kiona put hers and say, I have Saturn in Libra and I have it in my 10th house. Just come and put it in the comment section and let's talk about it. I'm going to look for your comment. Let me see if I can pin it so that people can see what I mean. Do not put your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth in the comment section, folks. Okay, I have pinned Miss Kiona's comment. So if you want an idea of how the kind of information I'm asking you to post, that's what you need to do. I repeat, do not put your time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth in the comment section. Put it in Google and say, give me, and then this is what you ask Google to do. Give me the placements of Saturn in my chart, and it will do it for you. And then come in here, let's talk about it. Okay. Okay. Saturn retrograde in Scorpio. Scorpio represents deep emotions. Scorpio represents memories that are never forgotten. Scorpio, so with the Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, okay, so we're talking about a lot of inner remembrances. You remember a lot what has been done to you. Makes you upset. It makes you angry. And you remember all the way to you might even remember what was done to you in infancy. Okay. And you have very, very deep emotions. And having your emotions, your feelings misunderstood. So you try to express your emotions. Sometimes it doesn't come out quite the way you intended it to be or intended it to sound, and it gets misinterpreted, or it gets roughshod. What's that term? When people ride roughshod over your feelings, and you just hold it there. Okay. Saturn in Saturn in retrograde in Scorpio actually is a blessing, because if it was progressing, if it was moving forward in Scorpio, we would be looking at a lot of um, holding on, unable to let go, looking at um, yes, there are delays in understanding. You get over it. You do remember. You do wish you were better understood, but it's not as bad as somebody who is in Saturn moving forward in Scorpio. The Saturn in Scorpio will attract, if it is progressing, it will attract a lot of earth signs. But in retrograde, you will attract a lot of water signs and other signs that are not compatible with you. A person with a Saturn retrograde in Scorpio will oftentimes be involved in relationships that are not always the best for them. Okay? A Scorpio in general, whether Scorpio sun sign, Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio descendant, Scorpio moon sign, one of the deepest desires is to be understood. But not only understood, but not pride open. I want my privacy. I don't want to be psychoanalyzed. I don't want to be probed. If there's any probing to be done, I want to be the one doing the probing. I will tell you what I want you to know and be satisfied with that. But when we have a Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, there's a little loss of control. The usual self control, because like Scorpio is a fixed sign. Scorpio can remember an insult for 50 years, and they will come back after 50 years and exact their revenge if they want to. Scorpio can also be very tender hearted until they're hurt, and then they'll have a shell. But their shell is not as comprehensive and deep and ironclad like a Cancer shell. So, with Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, you might find yourself being impulsive and regretting your impulsivity. Oh, I wanted to do this and I made up my mind to do this, but I ended up not doing it. And and then you start beating yourself up. Because I wanted to do this thing, and here's how I wanted to be, and here's how I wanted all of that to work out. And this is what I wanted to do, and this is how I wanted to handle this relationship, or this is how I wanted to handle this person. But for whatever reason, I can't seem to do that. So instead of being disciplined about the relationships, we end up being indisciplined, lax, LAX, about the relationship. And then also, Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, because remember, Scorpio has boundaries. But now we're talking about Saturn, and so a lack of discipline around boundaries. I had to mute myself. So there might be challenges with boundaries in relationships, in all kinds of relationships, not just in family or intimate relationships, in all kinds of relationships. And then that sense of, why am I doing this? I know what I'm supposed to do, but why am I doing this? And then the sense of having good intentions. Okay, I am going to start doing this or enforcing this. And for whatever reason, not enforcing those things. I know the right thing to do, but I'm not doing it. I know the right thing to say, but I'm not saying it. Self sacrifice. Person who might end up murdering their self. They're out there being the martyr. And inside them, they're saying, why am I being a martyr? But they're being a martyr nonetheless. Hello, Dr. Mabiletsa. You know, we're still waiting on you to get that doctorate. Okay. Saturn in Aquarius. Restrictions on free thinking. Aquarius is the sign of the free thinker, the unconventional person, the person who sees the trend before it becomes a trend. They're the people who are doing things before people even start thinking about it. They're the ones who are inventing the slangs that people are using 5 to 10 years later. They're the people who are leading revolutions. They're the ones in the forefront of community and activism, challenging the thinking of others, thinking outside the box, or just taking the box and smashing the box altogether. And saying, why reference the box in the first place? But then we have a Saturn in Aquarius. So the person starts experiencing material things, material restrictions that prevent them from being who they truly are. Might be other people preventing you from being who you truly are, responsibilities preventing you from being who you truly are, accepting roles, responsibilities, and duties that are contrary to who you truly are. And it happens, and Saturn in Aquarius, I think, is symptomatic of what happens to. Oh my God. Did I just spill makeup all over this place? Okay. Oh God. I just made a mess here. It's, I think it's symptomatic of women in general. You have a girl child that grows up dreaming, but then patriarchy and chauvinism hit. And then all those dreams have to be repressed because the system within which the woman finds herself does not allow her to blossom. It doesn't allow her to bloom. So Saturn in Aquarius is so representative of what happens to women. I want to be this when I grow up. I want to be that when I grow up. I I want to do these things when I grow up. I want to do this thing, and then life happens. A relationship comes, and we sacrifice our own dreams in order to support the other person's dreams. And even as I'm saying this, I'm feeling emotional. even as I'm saying this, I am feeling very, very emotional because this is the story of so many women. And somewhere in the self sacrifice, we're hoping if I sacrifice myself now, I will be helped and supported to meet my aspirations in the future. But it never happens. It just doesn't happen. And so by the time we wake up, we're too old, we're too tired, we're too sick, and we don't have the resources. Because those years, remember, Saturn controls time. So the years, we spent all these years building up other people and other groups and other communities, and we're giving and building. And somewhere in the back of our minds, we're saying, after I have paid my dues, they will turn around and help me. But it doesn't happen. And what they do is when they see that we're unhappy, they will give us a title. Or they'll buy us a bouquet of flowers, or they'll buy us chocolates and say, "You are loved. You are respected. You know we love you. You know we always respect you." And that's all we get. And that's all we get. So the Saturn in Aquarius represents the inability or the restriction or the delay in self actualization. This is who I am and this is who I want to be, but that has to be put aside through no fault of our own, oftentimes through no fault of our own, or through certain choices we have made. I'm going to support this group, I'm going to support this movement, I'm going to support this idea or what. But in our support of that thing, we or that individual, we ourselves get put back. And so we get depressed. And Aquarius has no compunctions about being addicted. So a means of coping includes addictions, just like Pisces. But for the Aquarius, it's an escape valve. Okay, I can't be myself. I can't do the things I wanted to do. I can't say how I truly feel. I'm just going to numb it with whatever the thing of addiction, the addiction of choice is. I'm just going to numb. And then remember, Aquarius will oftentimes say their mind. So there'll be occasions where you may have outbursts. But after the outbursts, Saturn in Aquarius, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You have the outburst, nothing happens. Okay. If there are other people having Saturns in certain houses or certain um, stores, you can post it. We'll talk about it. So we're seeing here the multiple ways that Saturn can influence us in different ways. Okay. So if Saturn is prominent in your chart, also ask and find out in what house is Saturn. If Saturn is prominent in your chart, one of the first things I would advise is to accept it. It may be hard, But one of the first things you will need to do is accept it and say, okay, in my life, I am going to get things later than others. I like the good things, but it's going to come later. I want the money, or I want the relationship, or I want the recognition, I want the respect, whatever it is. And I recognize it's going to come later compared to other people. Sit in it and surrender to it. Don't fight it. That's the first thing we need to do in order not to lose our sanity. Are we picking up what we're dropping? I want to make sure that folks are not lost. Are we picking up what we're dropping? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Saturn is Scorpio, so you're the same as Sweet Mommy. So everything I said to Sweet Mommy also applies to you. Amanisha. Amanisha Kedo Miro. Everything I said to Sweet Mommy also applies to you. Okay. And of course, as usual, I'm going to post this video um, for the replay. Hold on. I want to share something. Hold on. Saturn postpones what a person strongly desires. Okay. If there's something in your life that you strongly desire, that Saturn will oppose it, will delay it in the way that is shown up in your chart. So we have folks that will have delayed marriage, or delayed relationships, or delayed children, or delayed careers, or delayed financial success, or delayed recognition. Okay. For instance, Aquarius needs to be seen and needs to be recognized, especially for their way of thinking and the way they see the world. Saturn will cloud that. So they will come up with an idea, which under normal circumstances, people say, oh, that's a genius idea. But with the Saturn in Aquarius, people will say, what an idiot. And then they'll turn around and use that idea. But they will not give credit. A Saturn in Scorpio might be craving intimacy. Oh, yeah, they'll get married, they'll have a relationship, they'll do whatever. They'll crave the intimacy, but it will be denied them. You can have somebody with a Saturn in Scorpio who is married, but the deep bond is not there. Or they're always having to protect themselves in their relationship. So it doesn't matter whether it's a personal relationship, business relationship, they will see that repeating itself over and over again. Now, in the case of Sweet Mommy, who had retrograde, that's a loss of boundaries. A lot of that. And you have the person there saying, I don't want this in my relationship, but that's what I'm getting. And I can't seem to get myself together or communicate is just like a loss of control. Okay. The Saturn in Libra is wanting balance, is wanting elegance, is wanting the soft life, the sophisticated life, and they're not getting it. What they're getting is rough and rough and uncouth. And they're there saying, well, I can absorb it, I can tolerate it, but it's not what they want. They want more elevated conversations, more intellectual pursuits. They want to aspire to a higher class of people to associate with, but it's not happening. And it's not happening at the speed they want it to. They might go to a place where they're, you know how online they'll say, okay, if you want an elevated lifestyle and you want to meet different kinds of people, go to this rich area of town. Now, the person with Saturn and Libra will go to that elevated place, dress up and go there and say, well, I want to meet elevated people who think differently, who think in elevated ways. And they'll go there and they won't meet the people. Or they may meet them once and then the people will ghost them. And then they'll be sitting there saying, okay, do I have body odor? Am I too fat? Do I have too many blemishes on my face? So Saturn will deny that thing you want the most. It will slow it down and say, not so fast. You're not going to get this too quickly. Hold on, I want to check my notes. The thing is going to go on pause, but I want to check something else in my notes I want to share with you about Saturn. Oh shoot. I closed the wrong thing. Okay, thank you for waiting. I wanted to check something. I wanted to share something from my chart, but I wanted to make sure of what I was saying before I start sharing something from my chart. I have Saturn in opposition in my first house. Okay. And that can be a very difficult position for somebody who is concerned about their identity and how they appear to other people. So the more I want to be seen and recognized, the slower, the more delay I get. And this, if it is misdiagnosed, someone could say, oh, someone is doing witchcraft on you. They put a hex on you. It's not a hex. All it means is that for me, my recognition will show up later in life after I have acquired the self discipline required to manage my identity. The first house is all about identity and energy and drive. And I have noticed that when I put out a lot of energy, some of you have met me in person. When I put out a lot of energy and I'm like, go, 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 people can get very intimidated. And they get intimidated very quickly. But I have a lot of energy. And it can get misinterpreted. And I've had situations where in corporate careers, people have deliberately blocked me because they're like, who is she to have this much energy? Who is she to want to climb the corporate ladder so quickly? And they're like, no, we will not let her climb quickly, or we will not let her climb at all. We will not give her the resources she needs to assert herself and be visible. And if you are a strong black woman or strong black man, let me be very specific, and this happens to you, it is very easy to say, oh, it's racism, it's discrimination. And I did for many years. Because I'm looking and I'm seeing my peers rising very quickly, but I'm not. And I'm even outworking them and outpacing them. And the more I was outworking and outshining, the worse it got. Okay? That's a difficult placement. Because if you are an ambitious person and I'm an ambitious person, it can be very discouraging and it can be very frustrating. You're like, yeah, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And you're doing all those things, but instead of reaping the fruits of what you think you need to get, you're not. Okay. Ricky McFarland says Saturn in Libra, second house. What is Saturn in Libra in second house? Can you rephrase that? Are you saying Saturn is in Libra and Saturn is in your second house? Is that what you mean? Remember, I pinned Miss Kiona's statement. She said Saturn in Libra and Saturn in 10th house. So I don't know if that's what you mean. So are you saying your Saturn is in Libra and also in your second house? So please clarify, Ricky McFarland. Um, Amani says, is it delayed to teach you something? Is Saturn is all about developing a discipline. Can you wait? Can you endure? Can you be consistent? Some of you who were with me in the spiritual reset we did, was it early this year or late last year? Remember we had our statement, I can endure, I can wait. Remember our statement? What if, and I want you to consider this with me, what if you said to yourself, okay, my Saturn is in Libra. I'm going to have challenges around relationships. I'm going to have challenges around being in the kind of environments, elegant, upscale environments that I prefer. I'm going to have challenges around being in those kinds of environment or accessing those kinds of environment. That's fine. I accept. I surrender. I will stop desiring that. I will desire other things. I will desire other things. But this particular thing, since I know that there is a restriction, trying to get out the word restriction, since there's a restriction or delay around it, I am not going to put in too much energy into desiring this thing and getting irritated and frustrated. I'm gonna let it, I would desire other things. So, okay. If Saturn is restricting the kind of people and environments, upper class, upscale environments and people that I prefer, the kind of people I prefer, how about I start desiring money? Or I'll, desire something else. Okay, I'm having a restriction with relationships. That's fine. I'm going to play the field. I'm going to be a playboy, a playgirl. I am not going to look to be attached to anyone. I am just going to have fun. And once I have mastered the art of detachment, in other words, I'm okay if there's somebody, I'm okay if there's a truly okay, not I'm going to pretend that I'm okay. No, I'm truly okay. If there's somebody, if there's no, if there's somebody, fine, we'll have fun. If there's nobody, I will do the needful to myself and with myself. You will find out that the restriction starts lifting because you have learned, you have disciplined yourself. So, for instance, I find that whenever I go into a place and I say, I don't care about the accolades, I don't care about that. I'm not interested. I like I like getting the big shiny prize, but here I'm forgoing that I don't care about that. I want some other things. I want money. I want fun. I want to have jollof rice with fried plantains. I want some other things. I find the accolades come. And for those of you who are my advanced students, you now understand why I don't go for the accolades. Because if I go for the accolades and start basking in those accolades, it brings restriction to me. And those of you who are my advanced students know exactly what I'm talking about because we've had conversations around this. Um, if I have a Saturn in Aquarius, I will no longer be going out of my way to share my ideas. If I have a bright idea, I will write it down in my journal and use it for myself. I will not push it. I will not try to show other people that I think differently or can behave differently or have different. I'll be like, I'll keep it to myself. I will learn how to be selfish. Selfish with my ideas. Oh, do you know? We need to bring the community together. Do you have some bright ideas or some unique ideas that we could use to bring the community together? No. Well, last year you were the one who gave us the ideas about what we should do about this. Well, I'm out of ideas now. Oh, you don't want to give us ideas now? I'm an old lady now. I'm tired. I just want to have a good time. But if you really, really need some ideas from me for a small fee, I can share my ideas. Oh, yeah, we want the idea. So pay my fee. And then you decide I'm no longer going to be a Nikola Tesla for people. Just out there generating ideas and generating inventions and generating ideas and inventions for all these people. Yeah, it is raining. See that? So that's a Saturn in Aquarius. Or Saturn in Scorpio. I don't care. I'm not going to be here trying to control people, control how they interact with me, or control what they do. I don't care. Do you. Just do you. I'm going to do me. And I'm not going to put too much of my heart into trying to make you bond with me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find something else to bond with. If it's my cat or my dog or my children, even the children might be problematic. Because Saturn in my Scorpio is telling me that the depth, the connection that I'm looking for will take a while. And the more I desire that, the more I'm out there trying to be understood, the more I'm out here trying to control my relationship, the harder it's going to be. So I'm not going to be out here trying to control no relationship. Now, it doesn't mean I won't have boundaries as to what I'll accept and what I don't accept, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to control that. I'm not going to let you use me. That's not what that means. What that means is if you're available to bond with me, we'll bond. If you're not available to bond with me, I'm not going to push the issue. I'll go bond with someone else. Or I go get me a pet and bond with my pet. Or I get a project or something else and do my bonding. But I'm not going to sit here sulking, feeling hurt, feeling disappointed that you, who's in front of me, is not bonding with me, not understanding me, not. No, we're not going to do that. I'm going to give up a desire to control you. In as much as I don't like to be controlled with my Scorpio, I'm not going to try and control you. Do you? Okay. So I sit with it and say, okay, I accept that this is the restriction. Okay. Saturn is opposing my sun sign or opposing this or in opposition. That's okay. Because if Saturn is going to be denying you of that thing you desire the most, that's where your inner work is. If I have to be the first and final authority in my life, so be it. If I have to have my own authority, not be concerned about controlling others or letting others control me, I'm giving up the control thing. I'm just going to control myself. You do you. And in giving up trying to control you, I will do what I want to do. I'm no longer going to do things to impress you or to influence you or do things to make you do what I want you to do. I'm going to just treat you like the Burger King employee. Hey, how are you doing? I need a double fillet of fish meal. Give me large size Diet Coke because I'm watching my diet, even though I'm going to supersize my fries with my double filet of fish burger or sandwich. Give me a Diet Coke, Diet Sprite. Have a great day. And you get into your car, you leave. You're not getting into your car and driving away, and you're still thinking about that McDonald's employee that you just ordered from. You're not. You're not thinking about them. I've placed my order. I paid you. You gave me my order. Bah. If you waited so long until you accept it's not for you, then it comes, but your heart for this desire is no longer the same. Now you have it, but it's no longer so important. It's weird. It might feel weird, but it has no control over you. Saturn is about control and teaching you how to be free of a desire that controls you. Let me give an example. Let's say you have a Saturn in Libra. I want a relationship. I want to be in love. 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 So you start dating and sleeping with people who are not meant for you. You suffer. You suffer. And we all know people who are in desperate relationships where they're not wanted. There's a lady I know of right now, and she is seeing a man who does not want her. When I met them for the first time, it was very evident that this man did not want her. Till today, he still doesn't want her. He sleeps with her, but he doesn't want her. And the fact that someone is having intimacy with you doesn't mean that they want you. And people don't understand. So sometimes, especially women, we're like, if I keep letting this person have access to me and we keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, one day their heart will soften and they will want me. And then they get upset that one day the person finds who they want and they leave you. Men are very good at doing this because of how they've been socialized. A man can marry his enemy. A man can have children with a woman he does not like. A man can live with a woman he does not like. A man can live with a woman he doesn't respect. Because of the way that men are socialized. The way men are brought up. That's what I mean by socialized. It's harder for women to do because of the way that women are socialized. Women are socialized to be more dependent, to believe in love. And that's why they feed us all these stories and movies and whatnot. Oh, this is the way it's supposed to be and blah, 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 blah. Men and women are raised differently. They may be in the same household, but they're raised differently. It is harder for a woman to marry a man she does not like. It is harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is harder because we are raised differently. Oh, fall in love and the man will take care of you. It's happy ever after. Do you remember when we did the folktale series? Remember when we did the spiritual analysis of Snow White and all those European folktales? If you've not seen those classes, they are on my channel. You can go watch them. And in it, we talk about how women are socialized. in patriarchal systems. And so, thank you, Unleashed Alchemy. So we are brought up to be dependent, even though biologically speaking, we do not have to be dependent. Psychologically speaking, we do not have to be dependent, but we are socialized, we're raised to be that way. But we're seeing now that women do not have to be dependent. Women can be polygamous. Women can think like men and behave like men if they are raised like men. And we're seeing that men can think like and behave like women if they're raised that way. That's why we're having, men who are very secure in their masculinity with their full beard and, and they have full makeup on. And they're like, fuck you. I will do whatever I want to do. Okay. Oh, you have people coming, I don't like you, and blah, blah, blah. They don't care. I'm making money from TikTok. Why should I listen to you? I'm making money from YouTube. Why should I listen to you? I'm making money from all these other sources. I don't need to listen to you. So we are seeing in this age now that women can be raised to think like men, and men can be raised to think like women. And they'll be comfortable with it. And they'll say, oh, boss lady, she has her Vietnamese raw hair. Please, I need Vietnamese raw hair. Who can buy me Vietnamese raw hair? I need 36 inches. Okay. So anyway, I had to throw that in there. I want the straight Vietnam. I just want to feel like these women. I just want to look glamorous flying business class. Okay, never mind. So anywho, so we do what we do because of the way we're raised. Okay. So Saturn is saying, if you can decondition, you'll be okay. You'll be all right. If, as a woman, you have been raised, anytime you're intimate with a man, you have to start cooking and cleaning for him and showing him that you are valuable so that he can keep you and marry you. But if, as a woman, you can learn how to think like a man, I will be intimate with you and I will leave you before the sun rises. You will find out that you will attract more men. If that is the lesson that Saturn is trying to teach you. If Saturn is trying to teach you that lesson, but you spend your time on TikTok panels, all those live panels they do discussing men and women, and you're there saying, well, men and men, and the men, and this man did this to me, and Saturn will be like, you're not ready. So you will continue carrying this cross until you detach from it. When you detach from that thing you're wanting the most, you will have no desire, and it will be natural. You won't have to force yourself. You will have no desire to join, for example, the TikTok live panels and, let me tell you what this man did to me and how I dealt with him, and he's a narcissist, and this is the new system I have for dealing. You just have zero interest. It's of no interest to you. Zero interest. Zero. If someone said, can you speak on this topic? Yes, you can, because you've had experience. But your thinking will be more like, Okay, if you want me to speak on this topic, what's in it for me? Are you going to pay me? Am I going to be your consultant? Should I be a coach? You'll be more business minded about it. You're not in it to relive. You're not going to be in it to keep reliving your trauma and your experience. You're not going to be in it saying, "Oh well, I'm going to be here." Because like sometimes when I go on TikTok, I'm seeing the same people discussing the same thing over and over again: man, woman relationship, and who left who, and who's doing what to whom. And okay, is it a long distance relationship? Is it a scam relationship? Is it a 90-day fiance? Is it the man that left the woman with kids, or the woman who left the man with kids? And each time I go on TikTok and see these things, it's the same people discussing the same thing. And the only person who's making the money is the person who's hosting that panel. But the lesson is learned when you lose interest in that thing you have been desiring. And losing interest doesn't mean avoiding. If somebody sees me tomorrow and says, "Well, I want to give you the Nobel Peace Prize," I'll be saying, my first question is, how much money will I get out of it? It's not going to be, "Oh, wow, now everybody's going to see me on TV and go." No, it's going to be, is this going to be monetarily profitable? And if they say to me, "Well, no, there isn't much money in it, but, you'll get to hobnob with world leaders and stuff," I'm going to say, I'll pass. I'd rather have the money. What am I doing? Okay, so I go and hang out with presidents, and after that, after eating all of the meal, they go home. I go home. I can't call them. They're not my friends. They don't want to be friends with me. So what's the essence? So it's of no use to me. Like when people say, "Oh, come to this event or come to this party, this important person will be there, that celebrity will be there," and everybody's excited. "Oh, the celebrity is going to be there." Okay, so you go there, the celebrity is there. After that, did the celebrity call you? Is the celebrity friends with you? Do you hang out with the celebrity after the event? No, it's a zero value event for you. It's a it's a zero value event for you, because yes, you go there, you take pictures with the celebrity still doesn't know you. You don't have access to them. You can't call them. You're not friends with them. You can't visit them. They won't visit you. They won't even remember your name after that. If you try to come close to them sometime in the future, their bodyguards are going to beat you back black and blue. So it's a zero value event. You're not going to be able to call that a celebrity and say, "Hey, you know what, I need, can you, give me a loan or help me out, I have financial." You don't even have their phone number, so it's a zero value event. If you look at somebody like Shira Seven or Ashley Dalton, those young ladies who talk about getting providers, notice how detached they are from the subject matter. You never hear them doing their lives or their videos and they're hysterical about what they're talking about. Pay attention. They're detached. Shira Seven said before she used to, be involved with a guy who didn't provide for her and everything, and she was emotional, but she got over it. Yeah, get it. But before you get to the point of avoiding Dusties, you have to be indifferent to Dusties. You can't avoid a Dusty if you're not indifferent to them. And you only become indifferent when you have learned the lesson. I am no longer desiring this. And it's just like when somebody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, yesterday was the last day I'll be drinking. I'm no longer drinking. It doesn't matter how many bottles of whatever exotic drinks you put in front of them. They've made a decision. I'm no longer drinking. They're indifferent. You can tell them, oh, this drink here was brewed by the monks of Bavaria back in the year 1115. They don't care. They're indifferent. And so they've learned the lesson. And once they learned the lesson, they're free of the desire to drink alcohol. They become free of it and become indifferent. So you look at these young ladies, they have gotten to the point where they are indifferent to the looks of the man. They're indifferent to the words and the sweet words of the man. They're indifferent to the things that women are socialized to want about the man. And they're saying, okay, it's a world of duality, male and female. It's a patriarchal system. How do I make my profit from it? If there's no profit, I'm not interested. It's as simple as that. If there's no profit, I'm not interested. And people like Shira Seven and Ashley Dalton and the other ladies did not get to that point overnight. They got to a point where they're saying, this is no longer working for me. Therefore, I'm no longer going to desire this thing. Trying to control you is no longer working for me, so I'm going to stop trying to control you. Do you, and I'll do me. I will not harm you, and I will not let you harm me. But I'm not going to try to control you, and don't try to control me. I will do what is good for me. And I'm not going to do things that are good for me in an attempt to indirectly control you. I'm actually lost all interest in controlling you. I'm not interested. Is it the same as stoicism? No. You're not being stoic. You're being indifferent. Stoicism, you're accepting things the way they are. You're being pragmatic. Indifference is beyond that. Indifference is like, I really don't care. Stoicism is like, I'm going to suffer through this. I'm going to endure it. I'm going to be disciplined about it, even though I feel this way, but I'm going to override my feelings. If I'm indifferent about something, there are no feelings. There's no positive feeling. There's no negative feeling if I'm indifferent. So when it comes to the things about the identity and the image and things like that, I had to detach from that so that that will no longer be a burden for me. If you praise me, fine. If you don't praise me, that's also fine. I'm looking for a good plate of jollof rice and fried plantains and goat meat. So whether you acknowledge me or not, I don't care. Your acknowledgement is not paying my bills, and your lack of acknowledgement is not paying my bills. Now, if you are going to acknowledge me and give me money, then I will pay attention. And I will love on you until the money gets into my hot little hand. And then I'll ignore you after the money's here. But you get what I mean. Saturn can be helpful for the inner work. And the lessons of Saturn will show up in our dreams. I remember having dreams in the past that were related to identity, people trying to pull me down, people trying to attack me, people trying to humiliate me and do all kinds of things. But once I pulled myself back from that race, those dreams stopped. They just stopped. Once I stopped being concerned about how to manipulate people or even manipulate myself in order to have a certain kind of identity, those dreams stopped. Saturn is about encouraging us to stop the manipulation. Stop manipulating yourself and stop manipulating others. If Saturn is saying that right now I cannot have the elegant, elevated environment, sophisticated company that I want, I will make do with where I find myself now. I will have fun where I am now. I'm not going to be concerned about if there are rich people, there are elegant people, there are intellectual people, there are academic, educated people. I'm not going to be concerned. Wherever I find myself, I will have fun. Wherever I am. I'm going to have boundaries, but I'm going to have fun wherever I am. I will talk to whoever, whenever, however. I will chat with you and leave you there. I'm not going to chat with you and be secretly desiring that, oh, I hope, we connect again so you can be part of my elevated group of friends. No, I'll chat with you and leave you there. I'm not going to ask you for a phone number. I'm not going to try to reach out and form a bond. Now, if you ask me for my phone number and I feel like it, I can give it to you, but I can go home and do a quick divination. Is this person took my number from me? Is there any benefit for me in being in any communication or connection with this person? And if the divination says no, I delete your phone number from my phone, I won't call you. You can call me, but I won't call you. And after a while, you will get the message. Because I've done a different, and I do that. There's sometimes I meet people and they're all excited and everything and whatnot, and I'll go home and do a divination. And the divination says no, there's no profit here. So I let that peter out on its own. I don't I'm not nasty to them. I'm not unfriendly. I'm cordial. If they call, I answer, but I never call them. I don't go out of my way to pursue that relationship. And I'm not saying that they're bad people. The divination is not saying that they're bad people, but basically what the divination is saying is that there's no profit. There's no real benefit to me to maintain that relationship, so I let it go. So Saturn teaches me what I must let go that has too much control over me, but the lessons are painful. The lessons are painful when you don't want to let go. That's where the pain is. Remember the Hindu saying, pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. When we start looking at other systems like this and start integrating other systems like this, we start seeing that a lot of what we think is witchcraft and hexes and evil eye and jealousy and envy are not that. These are, again, global trends. They're happening to other people. So we are not exempt. Remember, that's what I talked about at the beginning of the class. We're not exempt from it. If the economy is bad, it's bad for majority of people in the economy. Okay. The people who are not suffering the bad economy are people who stockpiled money or find a way to use that economic downturn to their advantage. The majority of the people are suffering from the economic downturn. So if you're a business owner and you're suffering from an economic downturn, you don't turn around and say, oh, yeah, somebody cast a hex on me. Okay. There are a bunch of other systems that we can look at that are outside um, African spiritual traditions that we can start layering on as a way to finesse our experience. Like, for instance, human design. Those of you who are members, remember we did classes on human design, and advanced members, we did a little bit more discussion on human design, even though some of you didn't show up for class. Okay. But let's say you did your human design. You know your type, you know your profile, you know your authority, you know how to make decisions that are best for you. You will now see that you can use that system to eliminate a lot of bullshit from your life. And you can use a system like that to start making the right decisions for yourself. So if you meet people or introduced to environments or circumstances, you can use that system to make a decision and avoid problems in your life. And when I look at a system like human design, I can see that a lot of problems that I had in my younger days came from actually acting in opposition to what I learned in human design, the right way to make decisions and what to expect and what to expect in the stages of my life. I have very heavy Saturn influence in my life. Very heavy restrictions. And so when the people in my life were doing things to me, I was interpreting it, okay, they're evil people doing these things. But again, they were merely, now that I'm older, I'm seeing that they were merely the agents of Saturn. And I know somebody's going to try and do a play on words and say, did you mean the agents of Satan? No, I didn't say the agents of Satan, the agents of Saturn. Though at the time, when they were doing what they were doing to me, I saw them as the agents of Satan. Okay. But people will oftentimes be the agents of Saturn in your life. They will be the agents of Saturn in your life. If, for instance, you are supposed to give up control or learn how to have boundaries, you will be in relationship with people who will abuse your boundaries, who will be uncontrollable, who will control you. They're just agents. And in the Hermetic tradition, or even when you start looking at Asian traditions, we call them the master teachers. You know, New Thought, we call them master teachers. Your enemies are your master teachers. My enemies are my master teachers. They're your master teachers. They're agents. Saturn is okay. You desperate for relationships? I'm going to send people to you that will force you to learn how to detach from that so that you can be more discerning. Saturn will teach you discernment. Here's the right kind of person for me, and here's a wrong kind of person for me. Here's the right kind of environment for me, and here's the wrong kind of environment for me. Through Saturn, I learned about the places I can work in and the places I cannot work in. I cannot take all jobs. It doesn't matter how much money they pay. I can't take on all jobs because that's where Saturn afflicts me when it comes to identity. Because if I go to a job where I'm not being celebrated, I'm not being enjoyed, I'm not being acknowledged, I learned I would suffer. So it doesn't matter how much they pay, I can't work there. If I'm working with people who are constantly denigrating me, I can't sit down there and say, oh, well, let me just keep on accepting it and maybe one day they're going to like me. They will never like me. And eventually I'll get fired from there. I can't work in a place where I'm in a power struggle or personality struggle with somebody. So once I see that, I already know that's not the right place for me to be. Because my Saturn is in opposition in my first house. And the first house has to do with identity, how the world sees me. I cannot be in a place where my authority is being undermined. Oh, you have to stay and fight it out and show them you have rights and show them that, you will not be taken down and you need to show them that no. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. But for me, it will not work out for me. To be in power struggles, personality fights, it never works out for me. And I usually get victory after I leave that place. Then I get victory. If I go to a place and the people are intimidated by me, I'm gone. I'm not going to go there and start making myself smaller and start shrinking myself and shrinking my brilliance just to make them feel comfortable with me. And many of us do this. We're like, no, I have the right. The fact that I know how to mow the lawn doesn't mean that I have to open up a landscaping business. The fact that I know how to mow the lawn or shovel the snow off the sidewalk does not mean I need to go and open up a business doing that. There is nothing wrong with choosing not to fight the Saturn in your life. Nothing wrong with it, because that's a lesson you're supposed to learn. So if you are in relationship with anybody in the workplace, personal, family, whatever, spiritual, or you're in an environment, personal, business, spiritual, whatever, and there's drama there, you need to stop and say, what is my Saturn? How does my Saturn play into this? Before I start accusing anybody of witchcraft, accusing anybody of hexes, curses, and all kinds of things, where's my Saturn? Now, if your Saturn is not indicated in that situation, then you can start looking at other causes. I got married after stopping trying to shrink myself. And I stopped trying to shrink myself to fit. I didn't have to be rude or anything. I just had to stop shrinking myself. Do y'all remember when I told the story about someone who met me years later and said, "Oh, I wish I had married you. I was listening to all these other people who were saying, oh, you would be hard to manage and you you will be a wild wife and this and that. I regret." And I said to the person, no, that was what was supposed to happen. Because if you had married me with all those things in the back of your mind, it would have been a bad marriage. Because I'll be showing up, with my best heart, but somewhere in the back of your mind, you still be thinking about what people told you about me. So no, everything happened in divine order. When I stopped caring, fighting to prove myself to potential suitors, I found the right person for me. And the right person for me found me. Okay. When I stopped caring about the identity, okay, there are people out there who will misunderstand me because I'm a very energetic person. I've had people who would tell me to my face, no, you're not what you claim to be. I still have it till today. People who say, oh, you're not a doctor. It's fake. Blah, 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 blah. That's okay. You don't put money in my bank account, so I don't need to listen to you. I don't even need to respond to you. I had somebody a couple of days ago, a white woman, who said to me, oh, you know what? You keep claiming you're Canadian. You're not Canadian. You're Nigerian. I listened to your accent. You're Nigerian. I said to her, you know what? You're right. I'm a scammer. She didn't know what to say. I said, yeah, I'm not Canadian. I was just trying to scam you. I wanted to see if I could get money out of you. Actually, I am a Nigerian. But I was thinking, if I can just change my accent, maybe you will believe that, I am a Canadian, but really I am a Nigerian. And I like to do that. People like you, white women like you, I try to see if maybe if I can get something out of you. She didn't know what to say. She was like, and you don't even speak French. And I said, do you? And she goes, no. And I said, yeah, you see, that is what we Nigerians do. We tell lies. I don't speak French. We are just liars and scammers. That is our specialty. You see my computer here, my Mac? I just use it for scamming. Every day, I sit on the computer. I'm looking for people. I'm looking for people. I'm just looking for people. Looking for people. She didn't know what to say. That is Saturn in opposition to identity. Because if I did not accept that and play with it, it will be a source of frustration and irritation to me. So I said yes. So when I saw her another time and, she was like, hey, I say, hi, the Nigerian in me greets the American in you. There's no comeback to that. There is just no freaking comeback to that. Do I have to go and show her my birth certificate or my passport to prove to her that I'm Canadian? I don't have to. I'm not obligated to. I mean, and she's not my intellectual peer. She's not my academic peer. She's not my financial peer. She's not even my spiritual peer. So why bother proving anything to her? I don't. I make fun. So anytime I see her, I say, hey, your favorite Nigerian scammer is here. Yeah. Today was not a good day. There was like a target I had, but that target was very difficult. But I'm working hard. You know, I have 3 4 computers. Remember last week I was saying I had 3 Macs that blew up on me. Yeah. So what I need to do is bring out the 3 Macs and show it to her. I say, these Mac MacBook computer, they just spoiled. 3 of them because each time I'm trying, it go kaput. Boo. Kaput. Boo. Yeah. And she goes away feeling ashamed of herself. You're saying I can't speak French, but you don't speak French. You don't understand French. They are master teachers. People like that are keeping me in check. So I recognize her function. Can I still stand in my full authority, even though people are telling me I am not what I am? Can I still stand within my authority and not be offended? And you will have those tests from time to time. And after we had that conversation, I had a friend come by, and the friend and I, we were speaking in a mixture of Pidgin English and Yoruba, and I told her, "It will be in." See ya. Namu. The woman tell me say I no be Canadian. You know, see her nose. Her nose just there like Pinocchio nose. My friend laugh say, eh? She say you no be Canadian. I say no mind down. He say I no be Canadian. I go make her ye. I go I go ye this woman. I go ye. Ah! Wait now. Wait. If when I ye am finished, now I go discharge. In go discharge. Now I go just discharge. We were laughing like a couple of witches. Because in this woman's worldview, she's never left the United States. In her worldview, it is not possible that you could speak like anything and still be something else. And it's not possible in her worldview. Because when I started talking about that, she started telling me, oh yeah, I'm online and I have hundreds of followers. I don't know what platform it is. And there are many of them there who are scammers. The ones I can't see, can't really read their profiles. I'm sure they are all scammers from Nigeria. I say, yeah, that is us. In fact, I'm one of them. We are watching you. And then she's looking at me like, I'm like, yeah. So she's sitting in the midst of her own paranoia and trying to project that on me. And my job is not to accept the projection. So she's sitting there and she believes out of her, I don't know how many hundred followers she has, that 50% of them are scammers. And if they're scammers, they must be Nigerians. And I say, yes, you're right. My job is to tell you that you are right. And we're coming for you. She was looking at me and I said, the only reason why I didn't decide to go further with you is because truly you don't have money. But if really you had money, I would have eaten, I would have chopped your money. I would have chopped you, chop your money. She was looking at me like a deer in the headlights. And so I walk away from that interaction and I'm not offended. I'm amused. Okay. So that's the discipline of Saturn. Can you walk away from that amused? Can you walk away from that indifferent? Can you walk away from it secure in yourself, secure in your inner authority? Can you walk away from that saying, I'm the first and final authority of my life? All this is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And I have some other people in the workplace, they will do TikToks and you hear them on their TikTok saying things like, oh yeah, and all these Nigerian scammers and Nigerians and South Africans and the South Africans hate Nigerians. And the point of all that is to draw me into the conversation. Why do I need to be part of that conversation? I don't need to be part of that conversation. Is it adding money to my bank account? No. So why do I need to be part of that conversation? I don't care. I don't care what you think of me because I know that that's where my restriction is. That's where, and you know, I am my thing, my lesson is not to be so attached to my identity. That's where my lesson is. So Saturn is saying to me, don't be so attached to your identity. You have something bigger and better than this thing, this identity that you think you need to hold on to. Bigger and better. When I used to work as an engineer, I used to get attacked a lot. You're not an engineer. You're not a real engineer. You never studied engineering. You're not an engineer. You never went to engineering. Even though I went to graduate school, undergrad and graduate school, engineering. Did well. Went to Ivy League. But I still had people that contested that with me. So someone comes to me to contest with me today. Are you a doctor or not a doctor? Are you a Canadian? You're not a Canadian. It's meaningless. It's just like someone coming to me today and contesting whether I'm female or not. Ask yourself, okay, if you're female or male and someone came to you right now and said you are not female, are you going to spend valuable time trying to prove to the person you are female or try to prove to them that you're male? Are you going to do that? Or are you just going to walk away, look at the person like an idiot and just walk away? So that's how I see that now. If someone is coming to me and they're trying to argue with me about something that I am or have, I look at it as if the person is coming to argue with me my biological sex. Am I going to sit and argue with you whether I'm female or not? Thank you. I agree with you. I'll see them as challenged up there. Okay. Imagine running up to me and saying, I don't think you're female. Matter of fact, my mind will probably turn around to trying to see how I can make money out of it. Oh, do you see that? Do you say that I'm not female? No, you're not female. Okay, for a small fee, I will prove you're wrong. I'll try to see if there's a way I can make money out of it. So I'll say to the person, for a small fee, yeah, for a small fee, I could prove to you you're wrong. See if I could get $50 out of them or $100 out of them. Are you willing to bet $100 I'm not female? Ready to put your money where your mouth is? Yeah, make money out of it. But not be offended or irritated or frustrated by it. Okay. So don't be leery of using other systems to supplement whatever system that works for you. If using the Chinese astrology helps you make sense of certain things, use it. If human design helps you make sense of certain things, use it. If whatever it is, yoga helps your meditation, whatever it is helps you to make sense, Buddhism helps you to make sense of whatever it is, use it. Because sometimes one system may not thoroughly explain an experience, and you may have to tap into another experience to make sense of the experience. If I went to some practitioners, spiritual practitioners in Africa, and I start talking about Saturn, they will have no idea what I'm talking about. And if you went to them and say, well, I'm having such and such problem, they will say, oh, it's witches. And then if they do all the rituals they do and that doesn't work, they have no way of explaining why it didn't work. All they're going to say is, oh, well, let's do a more powerful ritual. And in their worldview, they have no idea that maybe what they're addressing as witchcraft, bad witchcraft, or hexes and curses and things, maybe that's not really the issue. It's the issue comes from a higher level. It's a planetary thing, an environmental thing, and it's not within their realm of understanding. So the reason why I teach you these things is so that when you're looking at life, when you're looking at your experiences, when you're looking at things, I want you to develop the ability to look at it from multiple angles. Okay. So, if you've learned something in today's class, I know this class is a little bit long winded, but if you've learned something in today's class, let's have your AYE, in the comment section. Did I answer your questions? Did I clarify things for you? Did you learn something? Thank you, Miss Kiona. Thank you, sweet mommy. Thank you, Miss Mommy. Thank you, Amani Shakito Mero. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Mary. Elder Divinity. I want y'all to know that Elder Divinity doesn't like me. Elder Divinity, if you like me, I want you to buy me a 30-inch. What was it that I was demanding earlier? Thank you, Khadijas. I want you to buy me well, it doesn't have to be buy. You can steal it or borrow it. I want you to get me what was I asking for? 38 inches Vietnamese raw straight hair. She's one of our elders here, so as an elder, it's your job to take care of us. So that's what I want. If you don't give it to me, I'm going to let everybody know that you hate me, and then you're going to have to defend yourself. Oh my god. One time I ordered, the human hair wig from TikTok. Child, I had to send that stuff back. It was so thin. And they were like, yeah, it is 180-degree density. That thing was like 20% density. They were saying it was 180% density. Child, that thing was 20% density. Oh my god. It was like 20% density. Okay. All right. So we are thankful to our creator, our guardian spirits, our ancestors, and our spirit guides for today's community, for today's sharing. and may the knowledge not be wasted or forgotten in our consciousness. Ashe, Ise, Kamaga, the Koza, the Sadi, Makwande, Ayababo, Yenho, it is done, it is finished, it is complete. Amen, Amen, Ma'at. For those of you who are in the workshop, you're welcome, Unleashed Alchemy. For those of you in the workshop, remember I'm still waiting on your assignments. If you have not submitted your assignments, I am still waiting for that assignment. Please make sure you submit it for us to move forward. If you would like to speak to me about your spiritual situation, remember you can always get a hold of me at tochi.us/consultations. Go to the consultations tab. Keep an eye out on the events page. You know, fall is around the corner, so we're going to start setting up events. Thank you to all those who attended the cord cutting a couple of Sundays ago. It was a little bit emotional, but hey, we got to do what we got to do. Um, yeah, so remember, I have courses, I have books, I have some new ebooks that I need to put out. I've been working on them. It's just that I've just been um, incredibly busy, but I'm not complaining. I'm just thankful that I've been busy. Um, summers tend to be busy for me, so I'm going to try my best to see if I can put out those ebooks, um, so people can use that for their spiritual practice. Okay, love you all, and see you all soon. Okay, bye bye. Okay, how do I stop this? Okay, sometimes I just have to look around and try to figure out all these things.